Ghana is a beacon of democratic rule across Africa. Ghana also is known as a beacon of peace and harmonious coexistence between different faith communities.
The different communities that you have here, it really is a great example of the diversity here and around the world, and the way in which, if you take some of these questions seriously, people who maybe don't usually get together are willing to come together.
And we are saying that if Ghana can contribute to be an inspiration for democracy to the rest of African countries, why can't we also contribute and be a spring source of harmonious coexistence between Muslims and Christians? The Sanneh Institute was launched back in 2018 when it was formally announced by Yale University. It was initiated in honor of the late Professor Lamin Sanneh, who taught at Yale University for 30 years plus. Professor Sanneh himself was so much in love with Ghana. In his own autobiography, he said, "Ghana is my spiritual home."
Also, Lamin Sanneh's representation as somebody that could leave one tradition for another tradition and make an enormous contribution to the understanding of Christianity and the history, not only Muslim-Christian relations, but also approaches to Christianity itself.
He never burned bridges. He always liked to build bridges. And so all these different communities, even communities that he's not a member of, he was able to kind of bring them together. And that was really his career.
So for Professor Sanneh, Ghana means so much to him. And that is why we are bringing it here, naming it after him. His spiritual home will become his intellectual home, that will use that to share and serve the West African and the African continent.
Before he passed, he started to see the excitement around it. The fact that, representatives from the government were excited. The fact that different religious communities were excited to get on board. And so to see it come to life would have been really amazing to him.
The basic purpose of the Institute is to conduct research in the areas of religion and its intersections of various aspects of life in society, and also to conduct workshops and seminars aimed at building capacity in scholarship at the graduate level in West Africa and beyond. The Institute also aims at engaging in interfaith and interreligious conversations, and also in conversations with people of no faith at all. The formal inauguration of the Institute was scheduled for end of February 2020, and the event was basically to formally unveil the Institute. The venue was at the University of Ghana, and the event itself had three main components: an academic conference, an inaugural dinner, and inaugural lectures. It was a very warm feeling having the guests arrive after months of planning, and to see that the day was eventually here. It was particularly very elating to receive the Sanneh family, but also the scholars who were coming from around the world, most of who were colleagues and friends that we hadn't seen in a number of years. Also receiving the Archbishop of Canterbury and the High Commissioner were particularly very significant for the inauguration. The event kicked off with a 3-day academic conference, which took place on the 26th, 27th, and 28th. And we had quite a breadth of scholars coming from around the world. Topics that were addressed within the general theme of territoriality and hospitality included the Kingdom of God is like a mustard seed, which was presented by Dr. Martin Akkad from the Arab Baptist Theological Seminary, focusing on how God provides in abundance for the purpose of sharing, for hospitality. Also, there was a paper presented by Professor Kwabena Asamoah Jedu, focusing on choosing the weak to shame the strong, territoriality and conversation in Lamin Sanneh's Sermon from the Margins, focusing on Professor Sanneh's autobiography and how the themes of hospitality and territoriality emerged from that autobiography. We also had a paper presented by Professor Mona Siddiqui on hospitality and gratitude as witness for coexistence, talking about how we are in custody of God's generosity and we are obliged to share that in gratitude with others. Included also was a paper from Ghana by one of the younger scholars, Rashida Alhassan Adumata, and her paper was very interesting paper, focused on the topic of weaving the fabric of food and eating in the multi-religious foodscape of Medina, focusing on how Muslims and Christians share a common space in the market and the different things that they sell and how they have to manage the space between themselves as people of different faiths. As part of the inaugural event, we had an official courtesy call on the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. The Vice President warmly received the delegation and gave his personal assurance and support and that of the government's encouragement for the initiative of launching the Sanneh Institute.
I really want to congratulate all of you for moving forward with the establishment of the Sanneh Institute. We will do all we can to support you and to be successful, because the impact is global of the work of this institute will be global and it will help all of us.
And this was of particular importance for us because we want to also, as an institute, to engage people in the policy-making arena, to influence policy as it relates to Christians-Muslims coexistence in Ghana and in the sub-region. A dinner was organized as part of the inaugural events hosted by Yale Divinity School and Yale University, and also contributions were made by the other parts of Yale University, like the Macmillan Center. This dinner was meant to bring together a group of people to honor the contributions of Professor Sanneh and also to make the vision and the aims and the mission of the Institute known to a carefully selected audience. The Dean of Yale Divinity School, Dr. Greg Sterling, gave some opening remarks to highlight some of Professor Sanneh's works and the importance of the Institute's role in West Africa and beyond. He also talked about Yale's commitment to partnering with the Institute going forward. The board chair, Professor Samuel Kwame Ofei, also welcomed all the guests and gave the assurance and the commitment of the board members to see to it that the Institute functions effectively and achieves its aims and goals. The dinner was really a very important highlight of the events marking the inauguration of the Sanneh Institute. The inaugural lecture took place on the 29th of February at the CD Conference Center at the University of Ghana. The lectures were chaired by the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, who couldn't make it, and sent the Provost of the College of Humanities.
I believe this has been fulfilling and provided fertile grounds for effective collaboration towards deepening the appreciation of issues that affect both Muslims and Christians. Once again, on behalf of the University of Ghana, I warmly welcome you to the beautiful campus of the University of Ghana. Thank you for your attention.
The two main inaugural lectures were given by Dr. Rowan Williams, a former Archbishop of Canterbury, who addressed the theme of hospitality and territoriality from a Christian perspective.
The mutual transformation of hospitality. Learning more about myself as I learn more about a guest. Learning more about my host as I learn how to be a guest. God alone is God. And what makes that to be good news for us is that none of us has to try to be God, to stand in God's place. And that none of us, therefore, has to defend ourselves as if we were defending God.
Professor Farid Isaac was the Muslim professor who also addressed the same theme from the Islamic perspective.
Territorialization not just of our own faiths, but the territorialization of God. God becomes a Ghanaian, God becomes a male, God becomes a Muslim. Inna shirka la dhulmun azim. That shirk, this association with God, is a terrible crime, the Quran says. But this is the heresy, the shirk that all of us are engaged in.
Professor Farid underscored the need for Muslims and Christians not to be so territorial, and especially not to draw God into our own individual insecurities.
The environmental challenges that we are facing, the questions of climate change, we're fighting about territory. Guys, folks, there's going to be no territory left at all for our children to inherit. Our survival depends on the survival of the other as much as the survival of the human race depends on the survival of the ecosystem. We have gone beyond the no man is an island unto himself to a no entity is an island unto itself.
There were also representatives from different Muslim groups, and the Christian community were very conspicuously represented. There were also people from all walks of lives, and so were the faculty and students from the Department of the Study of Religions at the University of Ghana and other institutions within Ghana and beyond. It's been a great success. We've been able to gather people from around the world.
The numbers attending spoke volumes about the perceived need for this. It's a very timely initiative.
Just couldn't believe the number of people who came and the variety in their background, the professions, and then also the religious backgrounds.
Pope Francis reminds us that we are supposed to be building bridges between peoples of different faiths and cultures and not building walls.
And for us, it's not just purely academic work. We need to engage the ground, what is happening on the ground. The chiefs, the pastors, the imams. That is where the action is. We cannot do our academic reflection without engaging those people on the ground. In all, the inauguration, right from the arrivals of the guests through to the academic conference, the dinner, the visit to the vice president, and the inaugural lectures were a huge success.